The next part of production is once you've marked up your sock, your first sock, you're going to come to the machine and you're going to sew your legs. So what we need to check first is that we've got a thread coming from the top of the machine out through the needle, and a thread coming out of the needle plate here at the bottom of the machine under the presser foot. Without those two threads working together, your stitching won't work. You need both threads. Otherwise, if you spend a long time sort of doing lovely stitching along and you get to the end and then you wonder where your stitches are, if you can't see any stitches, it's likely that if you look at your needle, your top thread has come unthreaded, or perhaps your bottom thread isn't coming through the needle plate, or perhaps it's run out and you'll need to rethread. But we've got two threads there. Make sure they're long enough to dangle over the edge of the machine. If you leave them too short, then they might sort of disappear into the machine when you start sewing. I'm using a stitch pattern A. That's just a straight stitch, and I'm using thread tension number 3, stitch width 2.5, and there's stitch length 2.5, sorry, and there's no stitch width because it's a straight stitch. So I'm going to start by putting my sock on a feed dog. This is called a feed dog, underneath the presser foot, and it acts like a conveyor belt. When you go to the supermarket and put your shopping on the belt at the end to pay, that's what this bit acts like. It keeps your fabric moving, so it'll grab your fabric as long as the presser foot is down on top of the fabric holding it in place. That feed dog will carry your fabric, and that's the key to machine sewing, is to make sure your fabric keeps moving. If your fabric isn't moving, or if it's stuck, then you need to stop sewing and work out what the issue is, because sometimes something's caught somewhere and you need to address that before you can move on. Okay, just putting the sock on the feed dog there underneath the presser foot, and I'm going to make sure I do a secure start and finish. And to do that on the machine, you use the reverse stitch control button here as you sew. So I'm going to go forward a little bit, and then I'm going to reverse back to the edge of the sock so I haven't got holy feet, and then I'm going to go forward a bit more and go round the corner and do the rest of the leg. Hopefully you'll see now. So I'm going to go forwards a little bit, reverse, and I'm just going to pull that sock from the front to make sure it keeps moving. First issue, there's a lot of problem solving here, so it's really good for your problem solving skills. Use the balance wheel to lift out the needle. If it gets stuck, we just need to free everything up again. Don't carry on sewing. If you carry on sewing and it's stuck, it happens to us all, see, it just happened to me there. If you carry on sewing in the same spot and the needle goes up and down in the same place, you'll end up with a tangle underneath, and then you need to remove the bottom and sort it out from underneath. We should be okay. So I'm just going to do that bit again. Forwards a little bit, reversing a little bit, making sure that fabric's keeping on moving. I'm going back to the edge and then forwards, almost to the central line, but not quite. I'm using a balance wheel at the side of the machine, the grey knob, to put the needle into the fabric, lift the presser foot up and rotate your fabric, and then you can carry on sewing up the length of the legs. I'm just pulling the fabric from behind to make sure it keeps moving, it doesn't get stuck in the wrong position. You need to be careful of this, some socks have this embroidered patterns on the outside, and on the inside they've got all loopy bits. The front of your presser foot, it's almost like skis with those little ramps at the front, so you've got to make sure they don't get caught in any loopy bits of thread, otherwise that could cause you a tangle as well. Just make sure it's flat, and I'm carrying on just pulling it gently from behind to make sure the fabric keeps moving nicely along. I'm getting to near the end, just underneath the heel, so I'm going to reverse now and then go forwards again. And then Just, you don't need to reverse much, just a little bit, and then forwards again. Make sure your needle's up. If it's not, then use the balance wheel to make your needle come up, and then use the presser foot lifter and wiggle your sock out. I'm just using some scissors, trim those threads off so they're long enough to dangle over the edge of the machine. And that's your first leg sewn. You're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So forwards a little bit, reverse back to the edge of the sock, and then forwards again, almost to halfway but not quite. Needle down, press a foot up, spin your sock and go round the corner, staying to the left hand side of that central line and being careful these loopy bits don't get caught. Any problems at any time, just stop and sort it out before you continue. Coming up to the end again, so I'm just going to reverse a little bit and forwards to make sure that stitching is secure and won't come undone. Okay, so we've got 2 lines of stitching there. What I'm going to do now is get some fabric shears and do 1 cut straight at the middle of those lines of stitching. Don't cut across the stitching, otherwise it'll all come undone. So I've got my fabric shears here, and just flat on a surface. Use the length of the blade. The little hole in the top of the scissors is for your thumb, and the bigger hole underneath is for as many fingers as you can fit in there. Use the whole length of the blade, just straight up the middle of that stitching to just past where your stitching finishes. And that's going to make sure you've got a hole in the top so that you can turn your body and legs inside out. Okay, trim off your threads, any loose threads, you can trim these off at this point. Make it all neat. Don't worry too much because this is all going on the inside of your sock monkey, so it won't be seen. But if you get any extra, you know, particularly long bits of thread off, that'd be great. Okay. There we go. To turn it inside out, then you just push your body through the hole, grab hold of it. There we are, there's the body. And make sure you've got both legs turned the right way round again. You might want to use a pencil or a pen possibly, but pencil wouldn't leave any marks in if you get it on the outside of your sock monkey. You could gather it up on your finger and then push the foot part through. There you go. Push the foot part through and then just push it through with a pencil. That's one leg. Again, do the other leg. Gather it up on your finger and then push the foot part through. There you go. And once it's turned the right way round, you see you've got no raw edges. You've got a nice, neat seam there. It's all sewn together nicely. Your foot has started to be stuffed a little bit by the excess sock on the end there. But now you're ready to stuff.